Alright students, fine. Girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good evening to one and all. Myself Shabnam as usual from the code Ark. We are at day 17 of our Python SQL Django series and day 55 of our overall full stack web development series. Fine. Otherwise, audibility, visibility all set to go ahead or not, please do acknowledge us in the chat section. Good evening Rakesh, good evening Navin, good evening Jyoti and others as well. Yes Navin, I conveyed the message yesterday also. Yes Navin, module we have completed. We have completed the module. Okay, that's completed. 2 files of Python which is pending. One I will send you. Second one of yesterday's, that is module, the chapter module people, we still have to write some assignment question. That's the reason I delayed it. Okay, I'll send it together with the class today. Okay, I hope your question is answered. Fine, let's have a quick recap of what we have learned in the class yesterday. We were talking about the module. Module is a set of code which is once written, saved as a file, py file, and that can be imported in some other program so that it can be reused. A good time we spent yesterday understanding the difference between a module and a function. Say a function with common code required by different utilities can be used only within a program. But if the same utility is required in every other program, so every time it needs to be repeated, rather we pack it as a module or pack the code inside a module. Alright, fine. Okay, then we learned how to import a module, how to import a particular function from the module, how to rename a function as an alias, and so on. Alright, fine. People, listen to me carefully. We are in the middle of some ongoing webinar today, so we do not have that much of time till 6 o'clock to continue the class, so that the class today is not cancelled. What I did is, the code which we want to write, I have already kept it written. I go through it, I'll execute them, I'll explain it to you. Alright, so that you can do the same thing back at your home or back at your place. Right? I hope you understood the concept here. I couldn't find time today to prepare the Word file which I called it as a teaching pointer. We are yet not ready for the topic today with assignment question. So all these our side homework we will do post 8 p.m. today and send you. Only for the sake of class not getting cancelled, we are conducting the session with the code which is in front of you. So please cope up with us. Cooperate us. I hope you understood. Okay, thank you. Got it. Fine. So here we go today. People, today we are talking about Python's inbuilt module, that is DateTIme. Okay, DateTIme. We know yesterday how to import a module. First of all, DateTIme, let me open a rough notepad file. Okay, people, DateTIme. First of all, DateTIme, it's a module. Yes, it's a built-in module in Python, like you don't have to create it, it's already available. Okay, it comes with many functions, classes inside, and some properties as well. Alright, all that you have to do is you just have to import DateTIme and implement its utilities. Alright, first of all, another thing, as the name itself suggests, what does it do? It provides you date and time features to be included in the program. Say I want to display today's date, okay, or maybe I want to display the current time. Like you know how if I chat with you on WhatsApp, with every chat message the timestamp is attached. I hope this is correct, right? Fine. While chatting on WhatsApp, with every text message the timestamp is attached. You let me say you pay up the cart. Say your shopping cart, you try to pay up for your cart. After the cart has been processed, the date and time is again mentioned. Fine. So all these functionality which we need in our application, let us see how to achieve it using DateTIme. I hope you got my point. People, date and time in fact is one of the most important function or functionality any app can achieve. आप देखोगे डेट टाइम इज एक्चुअली इम्प्लीमेंटेड इन मोस्ट ऑफ द क्रिटिकल फंक्शंस इन द एप्लीकेशन ऑल्सो. How can I give you another example other than payment and all? Okay, let it come. Come on, let it come. Let's start and then we see. So here we go. Fine. So this is how I'm importing DateTIme. This is my line number 1. Like you import any other module, I'm importing DateTIme. Okay. ठीक है. And if you don't know what all things are available in DateTIme, you can use help function to print or dir function to print. Like what are the different classes available in DateTIme? What are the different functions available in DateTIme? What all you can play around with DateTIme? What can you do with the different stuffs in this module in DateTIme? Right? So fine, I execute this. Okay, so it has given me an entire documentation, help on the module DateTIme. Okay, so first of all, it's a fast implementation of a DateTIme type. Okay, this is the official documentation and you will find it entire file on internet. Fine, okay. Okay, and these are some built-in classes. Now we have not learned object-oriented programming, so I cannot talk in detail about the classes. Next week when we study OOP, we'll talk about classes and objects. Alright, so these are the different classes available in this module. So one thing, hello friends, see, yesterday in a module calculator, what we created were only functions, right? A module can also consist of, or it can also contain some classes inside. Right? For those of my friends who are coming here from JavaScript or Java or C or C++ especially, they must be knowing the concept of classes. Right? Fine. So a module can pack inside some functions. It can also contain the code of some classes, definition of some classes. So this built-in module DateTIme contain the following class: date, DateTIme, time delta, tz info. Okay, these are the different methods defined in the date class. Okay, first of all, this is the constructor, how the date class is made up of, what it is expecting. Okay, like you can have different attributes here, etc. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I read around only what you understand. Okay, maybe I want some weekday, etc etc. Okay, today we'll be using that function today also. Data descriptions, etc etc etc. And if you want a little concise output, suppose you don't want to read this entire documentation, you want a little concise output, make use of dir command, which will direct you to directly insert what is present in DateTIme. Okay, see, I'm unable to come out of it. Just do Control C, so you will be back to the prompt and run this line number 2. Fine. So in short, it has written here, see, this is what all is available in DateTIme. Like you will find somewhere time, you will find somewhere time delta, you will find somewhere date, etc. Out of which we are going to deal with date, DateTIme and time. Is that okay? Fine, that's more than enough. But you cannot get rid of this concept of DateTIme. कहीं ना कहीं full stack में आपको ये ज़रूर काम आएगा. People to add additional functionalities inside your project. I hope you got me. It's very very important. Like you book an Ola, Uber kind of cab facility. Of course, what time? That's the most essential information. In fact, what was the time? What was the date the passenger has booked the cab? Or maybe if I place an order on Swiggy or Zomato. But the most important thing in this transaction is the date and time of the transaction. Are you getting my point here? Fine. When date and time of the transaction. Another example, like I go to ATM and I withdraw some amount. People, what amount you withdraw, it's okay, fine, but along with that, the date and time, which also will be attached at a timestamp in the record of the database. That's an essential information. Is that okay? Fine. So let's see, how do we get all these info. This is DateTIme. Okay, this is line number 3. I ignore, it's not going to give me anything. Fine, let's start from here. See my code from line number 5. Okay, so I'm simply getting some DateTIme information. All my friends who have joined us late, Okay, I told to the people out here that we are in a little hurry today because we are in the middle of some webinar. Okay, we are in the middle of some webinar, so for that reason I have kept the required code today already mentioned. Fine, please cooperate with us for the day today. Okay, Navin is asking us, can we learn all or only these three, ma'am? We are doing these three specifically. ऑल की लगभग हमको ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, आपको भी शायद नहीं पड़ेगी, इतना पढ़ लिया तो भी बस है. Alright, this is in fact more than 80% of the entire date time. Rest are nothing but some constructors, some classes which you will automatically get into use the moment you start using. Right? That's the reason we selected these three. Take it. Chaliye. So from date time, I'm importing date time, means I'm talking about this one, people. When you say import date time, that means you're importing only this date time. Okay. Now this date time, check it out. Okay, we have a now function in this date time module. People, now function which will always return you the current date and time. Okay, yeah, this is going to return you both the date as well as time. So if I print what I got stored in now, see, this is my variable. Okay, I just took an information from now function and whatever current date and time it has written, I made it to store in now. And now when I print now, okay, so this is your current date and time as per your system clock, month and then day or date, correct? So YYYYMMDD and 17 15 44 point something something, that's microsecond. Right, so every time if you run this, every time you call the now function from date time, zara dekhte jaiye, every time you call the now function, every time you get a date which is a real time data. So this is not a 15th minute, this is a 16th minute now, correct? Again I run and again I execute, so this is again something 16 minute but a different second. Is that okay? So that's a dynamic information. Right, now from this entire complete date, if I want to extract just a year part, or if I want to extract only a month part, or if I want to extract just a minute part, so we can use the different properties of this date time. Like now is a date time object. Everything that belongs to date time can be accessed through now as well. So now dot day, come on now dot day. Let me print a day here. Okay, now dot day, you see it's going to print only the date, that's 14. Yes, Navin, it's an inbuilt module, my friend, it's an inbuilt module. That's the first point I mentioned. Okay, Navin, this was the first point I mentioned, your doubt. Date time is a module, it's an inbuilt module in Python. See, whenever somebody is using the keyword import, that means it indirectly applies the stuff is a module, correct? It's an inbuilt module. To start the class today, this was the first point I mentioned in fact. Okay. Alright, suppose if I want only the month information, so maybe print month. Alright, so that's month. Okay, what is it printing? I need to check why is it so. Okay, month. Okay, fine. That was some weird output. Month is 12. Is that fine? Right? Okay, maybe I want just year information. So print year. Is that okay? Now dot year and print year. Similarly, if you want just an hour information from the current date and time, so we said now dot hour and we are printing just hour. Alright. Similarly, minute information. Right, so now dot minute and I'm printing just minute. Is that fine? All of us? From date time, import date time. Why we use date time twice? Is the module name? Yes, Jyoti, it's a module name. Alright, I tell you exactly what it is. Okay, that question makes sense. You said from date time, we're importing date time. Check it out here. Date time, it's a module. Okay, date time, this is a module. This module inside consists these classes: date time, date, time. Are you getting it? And in fact many more like delta time and all. There are so many other classes. So all these are different classes defined in the module. Okay, class defined in a module. I hope you got my point. Class is like a design. Very soon we will be learning about how to create our own class. This is an object-oriented programming concept. Now clear? Fine. So this is what we are doing. Okay, Jyoti is asking, she's asking from DateTIme. You write again DateTIme. So why this is twice? Okay, I was under the impression you could understand that. Fine, but if this is her doubt, it could be others' doubt as well. The question makes sense, people. तो आप दो बार क्यों उसको फिर इंपोर्ट करते हो? देख लीजिए उसका मीनिंग क्या होता है. When I write DateTIme here, so it's a module. From this module import DateTIme, so it will import only this part. Unnecessary other classes and functions won't be imported, keeping our program concise. Clear? Thereby keeping the performance of the code also good, not including some unnecessary functions and objects. Now clear? Okay, so there are two ways I can write now. Come on, everybody else also help me. Say import DateTIme. Okay, import DateTIme. So now if I want to use the now function, how will I write? Print DateTIme. Yeah, DateTIme dot now. That means from this module's this class ka this function. Getting it? That means from this module followed by this class ka this function. I hope you're understanding now. Good, clear, ma'am. Okay, yeah, Shiraz, what if we write import DateTIme? That's what I told you, right? If you're writing just import DateTIme, you look the way I did it here. Okay, import DateTIme. So now if you try to write like this, okay, I think because it is already imported down, that's working for me, right? But now if you write like this, no, यहाँ पर फिर आपको लिखना पड़ेगा DateTIme dot now, not date now. Okay, shall keep it assessed. I hope you got my point, right? So no, that's DateTIme. From DateTIme, I'm importing DateTIme. This is unnecessarily written in a case sensitive format. Fine. Okay, got it. That is to say, yup, exactly, that's what I want to say. Just to save memory, we have imported, this is a way, in fact, keeping imported only those classes that we want. So now you tell me, what if I wanted just date? This is having only the date property, like what is the date, what is the month, what is the year. This is not going to show you hour, minute and second information. Okay, so if I write DateTIme or import DateTIme, 1 minute, import DateTIme, and if I say print DateTIme dot, and if I want to call some function from date class, so I'll have to use it this way. Are you getting it? Today is a function that returns today's date. Alright, and if I'm writing like this, from DateTIme, come on, that is from DateTIme, yeah, import date, come on, import date. So I don't have to write this part, I don't have to write this full part. In fact, I will simply be writing date dot today. Okay, somebody please make it clear. Alright, somebody please make it clear. All these stuffs and doubts clear around. Why am I writing 2 times DateTIme? So all these are the different classes which are defined under the main module, that is DateTIme. Hoping people are understanding. Okay, shall be waiting for your comment in the chat section. Till then I go ahead. Okay, okay Naveen, thanks. ठीक है, fine. Doubts are clear. Okay, so now concentrate from line number 5 again, since we lost our rhythm in between. Okay, so we're importing DateTIme. Now is a function that displays the system current date and time. Okay, so if I could print now, this is what the output I could see. This is the current date and time till microsecond. Okay, these lines I do not execute them again, and suppose from the current date and time written by the now function, come on, by the current date and time written by the now function, if I want to display this individual information, like what is the year, or maybe what is the month, or maybe what is the date. Say I want to find the age difference between you and me. Okay, the most important thing firstly that I need between age differences, maybe year, your birth year minus my birth year. So maybe I don't require the full date first. Is that okay? Okay, so maybe when I subtracted the birth year of yours and mine, I got the total years as 12. Now how many month difference between you and me? Then maybe I go to subtract month and month. Then how many days? Maybe days and days, for example. Right? So that's the reason we need to extract a part of the day. Is that okay? Fine. So these are the different ways we can print individual information. Okay. Similarly, now.second, that is to display the system current second according to your system clock. Alright, fine. Okay. We also have something called as timestamp. Don't break your head. If you can understand well, timestamp means the total number of seconds elapsed. I use this word, people, elapsed. That means gone. Okay, the total number of seconds elapsed right from one standard year, that is 1970. Okay, that means साल 1970 से लेकर अभी तक का, that means right till now, what is the current date today, the total number of seconds that have been elapsed, not the current time, the current date today. Are you understanding how many total number of seconds elapsed? Now why the year 1970? It's like a benchmark. Okay, it's like one particular year and we measure the other dates before that, then some dates after that. Okay, so if I could just run and show you that. Okay, line number 21. Okay, I mean these are some seconds in billions in fact. Okay, 1702554 blah 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 etc. Okay, now as many times as you run this timestamp, people, I hope you're understanding this data is same, it's not randomly changing. This will change again tomorrow. So as that's the reason I told you the total time or the total number of seconds elapsed with respect to 1972 till the current date. Alright, fine. The last print statement that I have written is just using the format function. If you have remembered string format, people, F function, and I'm displaying day, month, year with a slash in between. Are you understanding? So in case if you want to print the date something in this way, so this is my preferred way of writing date. Yes, Naveen, from 1970 till the date today. You are right, to till, ma'am. Okay, that is till the date today. Alright, fine, that's what. Okay, okay, so if I could go ahead, this is how to create the date object. Okay, now this time I'm using some special function called as strftime. Okay, let's see how to format date using strftime function. Okay, now what is this strftime? Let's see, come on. I'm importing DateTIme. You don't have to import this again and again, it's already imported once up. Okay, done. If you could see line number 27, this time I'm creating a DateTIme object by inputting one of our preferred date. Are you understanding here? Fine. So keep this question in mind. What do you mean by creating an object? As I told you, soon we are coming to object-oriented programming. Alright, fine. Okay, so this is 2024 year, month and day. So now if you could print the value of new year, good. So this is how the date got initialized to our own date. Understood? Fine. So if I want to create a DateTIme object with some other date, say the date 2 of 2 years ago. Okay. Say date 1. This is a date of some year that is 2 years ago. So let me initialize that date, maybe 2022, 1 and 1. Okay. And if I could print this date, so print date 1. Yeah. Okay, now because you have not initialized anything in time, that's the reason default time it shows as 000000. Are you getting it? Since you have not initialized anything in the time part of the date time, so this is how it is better showing. Never mind. Okay. Okay. Otherwise, day, month, year, hour, minute, second, these are the same properties that we have used up. So basically this code and the above code is doing one and the same thing. The only thing is, come on, this is doing one and the same thing. The only thing is, above I displayed the system current, date and time. Here I am displaying the date and time as per, or at least date as per my choice. Getting it? Fine. Above we have set the date. Yeah, earlier function were getters and these are the setters, right ma'am? You can say like that, correct. It's like earlier functions, we have used the now. Look, we are not using the now function anywhere here. Am I right? I'm not using now function anywhere here. Last time what we did, come on, this is how we started with date and time. Okay, say A is equals to DateTime dot now. Okay, and whatever current date, current time that now function returned, we started playing around it, like extracted only day part from that, extracted only month part from that. Okay, but this time to date and time, as Shreyas has mentioned there, no, we are setting our own date and time. We are not getting the current date and time, correct? Fine, so this is what it is printing eventually in the end, whatever date time that we have set here. Alright, fine. Okay, fine. So I was talking about this one, people. Check on the code from here. Once again I am initializing now variable. Come on, once again we are initializing now variable and returning the system current time. Check, and if I could simply print now, simply if I could print. Okay, so this is my current time. If you could cross check from a system clock, yes, it is 5:31. Okay, so this is the time, 5:31 and some seconds followed by some microsecond. Okay, now people, see, we have some special function called as strftime. Now this provide us some special keywords, some reserved tokens that can be used to present a time. Alright, strftime, it's to format the time. Okay, it is actually formatting time as a string. Are you understanding? Formatting the time as a string with the help of some reserved token. अब ये reserved token क्या होती है? What are these reserved token? You can visit here, see, strftime.org. This is their official website, strftime.org, and you get this all code here. That is, these are the reserved token. Like if you use %A, it is going to return the weekday. Capital A, it is going to return full name of the weekday. Like WED, that's for Wednesday, and full Wednesday also I can write. Today is Thursday, abbreviated is THU. If I write in full Thursday, that will be the full name, right? So similarly, if I write small w, small w, that's going to tell me the number of the weekday today, where Sunday is 0 and the last day Saturday is 6. So in your free time, make sure that you're learning each of this token and implementing it. Okay, like capital Y, somewhere you have capital H, somewhere you have minus capital H as well, platform specific, that is, right? So please give your some time and put in. We might not have used each of this token here, right? So to convert this time into string, I'm using this format. Look, capital H, capital M, capital S. This is for hour, minute and seconds, correct? So how do we do that? Fine. What is the syntax? Now, this is now. Okay, now my variable that is having the current date and time dot suppose if I want to print the data type of now. Wait. Okay, so it's telling me this is not string. The data type is date time. Are you understanding? People, the data type of now is a date time. Okay, now if I say print for me, print, it's executing. I hope the output is self-explanatory and you don't want me to go into the depth again. So this is what this special man or the function strftime has done to me. It has converted something into string. Am I right? Fine. So this time, although you see the output as a time, but it's not actually time, it's converted or formatted as a string using these tokens, right? So I write it this way, and if I could print t, okay, so time is, this is what is t. People, I would be glad if you could acknowledge to me in the chat section this concept understood or not. Okay, what if instead of capital H, if I had used small h? Okay, instead of capital H, if I had used small h. So you could see small h is there writing me the name of the month, that is December. Now this was missing from the earlier output. Is it right? Fine. So you go back into that cheat sheet which I showed you, check how small h, how capital H are different. Fine. I keep it here capital H, and instead of capital M I'm writing a small m, and I display the same. Alright, so that is displaying me this time not minute but the month. Are you understanding? Fine, but it doesn't make sense to write month after R. R goes well with minute and second, so better we replace it with capital M. Alright, fine. Okay, now when I send you this code file, make sure that you're going through each of these. Again, now.strf time. So this is like typecasting. We're converting some part of the date from now, some part of the time from now into string and storing it in some variable. Are you understanding? Fine, you see what am I doing here? Month, day and year. Okay, and in between I'm using all the front slashes, comma, hour, minute and second. So this all information I'm extracting from now, converting it into string, storing in a local variable time1. Okay, please somebody acknowledges that. Clear? Month, day, year followed by hour, minute, second. We are extracting from now, converting it into string, storing it in a local variable time1, so that we get output something of this format, and that too of the data type string. Right? Okay, so let me do that. And if I could print time1, okay, so this is time1. Am I right? Okay, let me try, instead of this front slash, if I use hyphens. And if I print it, cool, that means it is my defined format. Am I right? Understood, thank you. Alright, I hope you're understanding what am I doing here. This time I don't want those front slashes. Maybe I want those hyphens between the dates. No, I don't want month first, I want day first. Okay, so of course you change it the way you want. You please change it the way you want, I'm telling. Okay, so this time if I could display time1. Yep, so instead of 12:14, the output produces nothing but 14:12. Is that okay? 12:14, the output that is produced is nothing but 14:12. Good. Thank you everyone who have acknowledged to us here. Fine, let's quickly give a recap of what we have learned. We saw DateTIme from DateTIme. We saw how to format the output of DateTIme using strf time function, who formats time to string. Am I right? Or DateTIme to string. If you don't want to convert into string, that is okay, but if you convert your DateTIme into a string format, a lot of other operations become possible. Like if you want to join two date, or maybe if you want to compare the two dates, or if you want to do some string kind of operation, if you want to find a substring from that string which can otherwise cannot be achieved with only the DateTIme as date. Alright, fine. Yes, my friend. Yes, can we calculate number of days between the two dates? Yes, of course. In fact, I have written one question in an assignment with some hints of code as what you are asking, Jyoti. And suppose if you cannot do, then let me know tomorrow, as we fall short of time today. I'll write one code and show you how to do that. Okay, difference between days or difference between months and the difference between years, all of these are in fact possible. Okay, fine. Let's quickly go to this part. Okay, strf time and strp time are almost same, so I leave this part of code for you to understand. In case if you do not, then come up to me tomorrow. Okay, fine. This function in Python is used to format and return a string representation of date and time. Are you understanding? It returns a string representation of date and time. That's it. So you look, this is my string actually. 5th December 2019. This is my string. Okay, I'm printing this string. Okay, and here I'm converting this string into some other format. Fine, so that is displaying me nothing but data in a string format like this: %d, %b, %y. So that is nothing but 2019, that is year and month and some day. That's it. Alright, fine, that's it. Okay, this time I'm not using DateTIme but importing just date. Is it clear? Now it can be pretty understood from the name, very well understood from the name, that date is never going to tell you about the time. This only returns specifically the date. Okay, two ways, the getters and setters, like two ways we are learning date. Firstly, I'm setting some date here, say 1st Jan 2023, okay, to the constructor while creating an object. So now if you print this D, that is line number 70 I'm printing, yeah, this is what the date exactly it returns, exactly what you have imported. It is showing to you in the form of date format, right? So if you check the type of D, if you check the type of D, alright, so it doesn't say datetime.datetime, it's only date. Alright, it's only date. Hoping people understanding it. And suppose I want the current date, I cannot use the function now. Like the datetime has a function now, the date has a function called as today that returns current date. Okay, that returns current date. So if I say D is a date object, D.today, people, D.today, that's going to print what's my current date. Yeah, this is the current date. Alright, and then all those formality from that, all those formalities. Say I have stored date.today in some variable called as today, and say I just want to print only year, only month, only day. Okay, then this is what we are playing around. Okay, and okay, fine. You do not print it this way, you print it with a proper format function with what is year, what is month, what is day. Okay, all of us say fine. Similarly this time from DateTime we are just importing time. Again, as the name itself suggests, it is either used to display the current time or set some time. Okay, set some time. For example, I want to set a time after sending you an OTP. After 30 seconds the OTP should expire. Are you getting my point here? Fine, after 30 seconds or maybe after 5 minutes or maybe after 3 minutes, this OTP should expire. So in this case, I am not interested in knowing the current time. I am interested in setting the time. I hope you're understanding. We all know how does OTP works. It's a one-time password or some specific code. It should expire in some days or maybe in some hours or maybe in some minutes. Is that okay? So in that case, we would prefer to set time. Alright, fine. So this is an object of time that we created, stored in A. Okay, and if you could just print A, it shows you nothing. You see nothing. Okay, because this is just simply an object, people. So this time let me create an object with some arguments in the constructor. This round brackets, people. Soon I'll tell you what do you mean by this constructor, although this is not a right time to talk about it. So 10, 30, 50. Check it out now. What B prints? What B prints? I hope you're getting my point. So although you passed hour, minute, second in this way, that is argument, but you see B is printed in the time format, that is 10:30:50. Is that okay? 10:30:50. Fine. So if you could check the data type of B, just print what is the data type of B. Okay. Data type of B. Fine. So this time the data type is not date, but the data type is time. Alright, yep, you can use once again that strf time function to convert this time into string in case in the future if you want to perform some string operation upon the time. Okay, like joining or maybe concatenating or maybe replacing some things and so on. Okay, all of us, you're fine? Alright, what other that I have done it here? Fine. Same thing this is, but with the named arguments. Okay, what I'm passing up as 10:30:50, the same thing I'm doing here to create a new object of time, but this time with a named argument, that is hour, minute and second. We have learned this in function. And printing C. So this is also going to show me the same output. Yes, my friend, that's a default constructor. Okay, that's the default constructor. Fine. Okay. Okay, so this time if you could see, I'm passing hour, minute, second along with some microseconds as well. So one more way of creating this time object along with some microseconds. Fine. So this is how my object D that gets printed. Is that okay? Naveen, I didn't get your question actually. Is that only a date time function or lot of, ma'am? For time? No. This is a very small topic. In fact, I could have done this yesterday itself, but because it was too much, we did not include it. Okay, specifically for today, we selected a topic that could be completed before time. Okay, this was to be included in the topic modules only. Okay. Fine, this was to be included date time. This was to be shown to you along with the inbuilt modules, like we did yesterday. Module OS, module string, module math, import math. Is that okay? But because date time required some special attention as it is important, we came up with it as a separate one. Alright, all of us, if you can play around with these functions that we have learned today, that is also more than enough. Prepare yourself as much as you can, because a lot of interview questions is framed around date time. You remember the digital clock that we coded in JavaScript? People, digital clock using some date time functionalities in JavaScript. You take it as a homework from your end. Try to code that kind of digital clock in Python if you can. Okay, try to code the digital clock in Python. See what can be a substitute of that function set interval. Alright, try to do that. Let's have a quick recap of what we have learned today. We learned the date time. That's a module. It contains many classes inside. 3 of those classes that we discussed was date time, only date and only time. Okay, when you talk about date time, it returns both, that is date and time. It can set both also, that is date and time. But as the name implies, if you talk about just date, it will return and set only the current date or set the new date. Time, it or displays only the current time or sets only the time. Alright, yes ma'am, digital clock we created. Yes, I remembered that. Good, fine. Alright guys, that's all for the class today. I'll see you back again tomorrow with the topic we'll mention to you. Till then, goodbye, take care. If any doubt, please post to us. I'll try my best if I could answer to you back while offline. Okay, take care please, and please do not forget to like our sessions if you have understood well, and practice all the assignment questions. In case if it is pending from your end, please keep practicing. That's the only way to learn coding. Okay, goodbye.